Let me get strange here. All right.
We're college football cute today, boys. I love it.
We got to crank Steve Frank.
Let me crank it a little bit more. What about that?
Crank it,
Tasting
baby.
it. 1, 2.
That's much
There we
better.
go.
Tasting it. 1, 2.
Is that a new mic?
It is. I had to use a different one today.
I like
I
it.
got to buy an SM7B. I borrowed one from my buddy Chris. Thank you, Chris. But, rocking
Shout
the
out, Chris.
58.
Oh, I could send you one of these.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got like 5 of them. All right. There's a little housekeeping for me. Welcome to the Waterboys College Football Pregame Show. We do this all the time. How am I so far out of frame? I don't understand what's going on.
I think you look fine.
I stay out of frame, brother. That's why I need this coffee this morning.
Week number 10, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in for the very first time, my name is Aaron. We've also got former Division II William Jewell running back Derek, a.k.a. Strez, and bass player for one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the business, Black Sun Cherry, Mr. Steve Jewell. And we're a bunch of college football nuts. They got tired of watching Pat McAfee act like a moron on ESPN. So we created.
Well, you can't watch it now if you have YouTube TV. So,
yeah,
bummer.
For me this morning,
Bummer.
who even at midnight last night was staring at my YouTube TV app, going, "Surely we're going to get this figured out." The answer is no.
All the way to the last minute. Yeah, it's actually shocking, just because and I don't know if you guys have looked, but on like YouTube TV's Twitter, their bio is like, it's football season, and it's like, yeah, but you're currently taking like 3/5 of football away from us because you have so much of it.
Brittany yesterday, she's like, surely they're going to get this figured out. And I go, once ESPN launched that $30 app,
Oh yeah,
I knew this was coming. Because now they're going, I guarantee you, if you could find the new sign up numbers for that ESPN Premium Plus thing, whatever it is, they probably just been going, hey, let's put this off at least one Saturday. We're going to gobble up a giant, huge market share from a bunch of YouTube TV. I have to make the decision today to cancel my YouTube TV and look at like Hulu, Live TV or something, or go park my little college football loving butt over at Dave & Buster's all day. I don't know what the decision is going to be.
It's getting ridiculous. Why can't we just have one place, stream it all for a reasonable price? Doesn't cost an arm and a leg. We don't want to have to remortgage our house just to watch some college football. That's all we're saying.
I mean, I would, just because I love college football that much. I don't have a mortgage though. I'm just renting.
Same here.
Same.
All right, a lot of games today, a lot of storylines. We're calling this Statement Saturday because there are some teams today that have an opportunity to make a statement when it comes to we are a college football playoff caliber team or we are a bunch of posers. Looking at you, Tech.
Posers.
Some of the games that we're going to be talking about today that we're highlighting. We got 5 games. Number 9, Vanderbilt. Number 20, Texas. That kicks off this morning at 11 a.m. Central. Number 5, Georgia at Florida. 2:30 p.m. Central. Number 23, USC at Nebraska. 6:30 p.m. Central. And then a game that's happening in Knoxville that really decides the college football playoff future for 2 teams. Number 18, Oklahoma at number 14, Tennessee. And then to wrap it up tonight at 9:15 p.m.
Just a crazy kickoff time for the college game day game.
What are we doing? Number 7.
That's going to be a long day.
At number 24, Utah. So there's really 3 games today that whoever loses probably out of college football playoff contention.
Yeah.
In week 10.
Yeah, I think that's highly likely. I do think, because I've kind of been writing this idea and kind of taking it from last year and kind of what we learned about the college football playoff last year. And the cutoff last year was 3 losses unless you won your conference championship, because Clemson got in as a 3-loss team, but they had 10 wins because they went on and won their conference championship game. There are so many 2-loss teams this season that I don't know if we might have to have a 3-loss non-conference champion at like one of those 10, 11, 12 spots. Just by nature of how many 2-loss teams there are. I mean, specifically, if you're just going based on the current rankings, like every 2-loss SEC team is in the top 25. And I think that it would be fair for the argument to be made for every 2-loss team in the Big Ten to also probably be ranked if every 2-loss team in the SEC is in, because I think that Washington and Iowa both are very, very good football teams. And when you look at their losses, because when you get to 2 losses, 3 losses, you have to start looking at, well, who did you lose to and by how much? Well, Washington's 2 losses are to 2 of the better teams in the Big Ten. They lost to Ohio State and they lost to the Wolverines. And then Iowa, just 3 weeks ago, lost by 5 points to Indiana. And they had that early loss in the rivalry game against Iowa State, which anything can happen in a rivalry game. So I would consider those to be 2 quality losses for both of those 2-loss teams, but somehow both of those teams aren't in the top 25. But I think that the conversation needs to start happening for both of those teams and some of the other 2-loss SEC teams. Like, all right, we got to look at how you lost your games, how bad you lost your games, who was it to, where was it, how did you have control of the football at any point in the football, like all of that kind of stuff to start making it. And because of that, I think we're going to see a 3-loss team that didn't win a conference championship in the college football playoff this year, for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think if at the beginning of the year, if you had told me 2 losses is going to put you on a bubble, I would have said, not if you're an SEC team. But there are going to be so many 2-loss teams in the SEC, and some of them,
maybe all of them, which would be really crazy.
Some of them might be a top 10 team in the country if you put it all together and just say all chips on the table, best teams in college football. But, we saw this when they were negotiating the new college football thing. We saw both the SEC and the Big Ten vying for so many seats at the table when it came to teams in the college football playoff. There's legitimately a chance that we could go into bowl game week. Let's say Tennessee has got 2 losses and misses. They could go out on bowl week, and we could have a situation where they get matched up with an ACC team, a Pac-12 team, or a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team, and just thump the ever-loving snot out of somebody. And now we got this thing we got to deal with all of college football offseason of could blank team have made a run. Last year it was Ole Miss. There's probably going to be a Big 12 team that ends up on the bubble of the college football playoff that's going to go out and thump somebody in their bowl game. And my problem is when this happens, then all I think is, are we going to be smart college football and just say, hey, this type of conversation is good for the sport. Let's let it carry us in the offseason. Or are we going to be morons and start talking expansion again and go, well, let's, instead of 12, let's go to 16.
And then that would be just so dumb right now, because if we went 1 through 16 right now, if the playoffs started today and it was based off of the current AP poll, we would be getting Louisville at Ohio State. which would be a cool game. Nothing against Louisville, but that game doesn't need to be happening in the postseason to determine a national champion.
Well, perfect reason. We were talking about Waterboys / Washed Up Sports launching our college basketball show. And I said, hey, everybody watches the NCAA tournament for college basketball. And Shrez said, yeah, I don't even pay attention to college basketball until the conference tournaments. The reason is because it doesn't matter at all because the field is 64.
Yeah. 68 technically because of the play-in games.
Yeah, because we did the play-in thing. But if the field was even 24 in college basketball, you would go, oh, man, well, that means that regular season North Carolina versus North Carolina State means something. I'm going to make sure that I at least watch these marquee college basketball games. Instead, I'm a college basketball nut. Steve's a college basketball nut. He's from Kentucky. The amount of regular season games that just your average fan cares about, that list is so small. It's Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Louisville, Kansas, and whoever, whatever the big team is there. There's some Big East games that matter a little bit. There's a few ACC games that matter a little bit. You might have an SEC game, but the list of big time college basketball games that during the regular season that just normal fans want to make sure they don't miss just gets smaller every year because you go, well, I really don't have to start paying attention until what? Late January? Early February?
And there's nothing else on.
Yeah. And if you keep expanding the field, this is where college football goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't go, well, I mean, I wife wants to go to the pumpkin patch, but I want to make sure that I catch USC at Nebraska. If the field expands, you're like, I could probably watch the game cast on my phone. It's probably not that big a deal.
Yeah.
And I don't want us going there. So
no, that's always kind of what's, what has set college football apart from all of the other sports nationally. But by the way, quick shout out, my niece Allie. Hey, good morning, niece A. How are you? But the thing about college football always was, especially before we got to the college football playoff, 4-team playoff even, one loss was a death sentence. That BCS era, every single week mattered. You played 12 games. You better win them all and hope that you get enough votes from the computer system to put you into the national championship game. But then we got to the 4-team playoff and, well, maybe you could afford to lose a game, right? I remember the very first year when Ohio State won it all, they dropped a game early in the season, came back and won out the rest of the season and ended up jumping over TCU. Shout out our boy Trevon Boykin. Sorry about that one. But then Ohio State went on to win it all, And so the committee made the right choice by doing it. You can't dispute that. But one loss when it was to 4 teams was kind of all right, you might be able to afford to lose one game, but it better be a good loss. And if it's not a good loss, you better win your conference championship game 55-0. But now we're in this, in this 12-team situation. You can maybe afford to lose 2 games, in the way that they're forcing schedules to look now. 9 conference games, ideally, better out of conference marquee matchups. 2 losses, you can afford 2 losses. But I think when we start getting to the point where, okay, well, you lost 3 games, but we're going to give you a chance to win it all. I think that's just too much, and that's exactly what a 16-team playoff would look like. That's exactly what a 24-team playoff would look like. I don't think it would be good for college football at all. And plus, with the way that the transfer portal is now, right, the way that NIL money works now, I mean, you would have so many games happening for college kids who, have to do finals during the holiday break. This is like the first time that football players get to go home to visit their families, unless they're in the top 12. Like, there's just so much that goes into college football. Is so unique in every aspect that I feel like expanding it is just a stupid idea.
Well, we kind of saw it with the very first year of the playoff. When my team went in the very first 2 years, Oklahoma makes college football playoff and gets exposed on the fact they don't have a defense. So then the conversation for the first 2 years turns into, well, that fifth best team had a little bit of a defense. How can they make a run? And I think what happens is college football, you have to be comfortable with that those conversations are going to happen.
Yeah.
But those conversations are they have a short shelf life to them. Like going back to the BCS era where you'd have 3 teams with 1 loss. You'd have 1 team undefeated, you'd have 3 teams with 1 loss, or you'd have 3 teams with 1 loss and 1 team with 2 losses, and then the computer would spit it out and go, well, these are the 2 best teams. We really, unless you were a diehard fan of one of those teams that got left out, college football in general forgot about that by 24, 36 months after. Like you forgot about it. Oh, like, hey, remember when so and so didn't make the BCS title game? Man, that team was great. It comes up every once in a while on ESPN where the best teams can never win it or whatever. But like college football, be okay with that conversation is going to happen in the offseason of, man, can you believe so-and-so got left out of the college football playoff? Be okay with that, because at the end of the day, the best team in the country is probably going to win the national championship. Like, cream is going to rise to the top anyway. Every year in the NCAA tournament, when they start talking bubble talk, I do this. Every year I do the same thing. Steve's probably done the same thing. All I can think is, I mean, we're talking bubble talk, but like neither of these, like number 67 in the country was going to like make some Elite 8 run. Like,
yeah,
we're upset BYU's not in the, BYU got left out of the NCAA tournament. You look at BYU and go, I mean, what are they going to make it a round? Maybe 2?
Meanwhile, BYU is staring a college football playoff berth right in the face this morning.
Yeah, and Cincinnati. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad, getting into week 10 now and even week 9 last week, you start to get into more conference matchup games. Things start to even out a little bit. We can start to see kind of where everybody's at. So, it'll be good. Hey, Brittany.
Hoodie season is upon us. Hoodie season is upon us.
Don't we look cute this morning, Brittany? We're all decked out.
Footballed up.
We're dolled up,
right,
baby.
Before we get into our storylines, boys, let's tell about our title sponsor, Better. Most apps are really confusing. Too many menus, way too much scrolling. It's not easy to put a play on anything. That's what makes Better different. Better is the first real microplay app, so instead of waiting for the whole game, you can lock in a play on every drive, every pitch, every moment. New users get special picks and promos to try it out when they use code WASHED, WASHED, code WASHED. So don't just watch the game this weekend. Live it, play it, better it. Download Better now and use code WASHED, and you're going to get a special promo. And right now they're running even extra promos on top of this for those of us who are members of the Better family. So go use Better and download that app. Use code WASHED. All right, it is Statement Saturday, but let's talk about, we're going to do some things a little bit out of order this morning. James Franklin rumors are raging this morning, boys. They were late last night. I was looking at some of the things that were trending on college football. James Franklin's name being thrown around because he went on, which is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. A coach that got fired went on College Game Day the next weekend.
Conspiracy time. Does that mean James Franklin's getting an SEC job? Because that's what they do for SEC coaches. 3 years ago, I will never forget this. 3 years ago, they brought Nick Saban onto a halftime show in conference championship weekend to let him plead his case as to why Alabama should be let into the college football playoff. And them letting James Franklin on to College Game Day to talk about how that situation was handled, very SEC coded. Very SEC coded.
Yeah, for sure. I could say, hey, Saban, you mind to go on there, and just kind of plead the case for your old Crimson Tide, your old alma mater a little bit,
Steve, you were doing the Gator chomp, though. You think I actually kind of like the prospect of James Franklin maybe going down to Gainesville.
I think that, and there's another one I'm trying to find. I want to send you boys where there's reports out, maybe Ken Rosenthal, I can't remember, that Marcus Freeman is maybe in some legitimate talks with LSU right now.
No way.
That's interesting. I'm trying to find it. If I can, I'll send it. We can maybe post it up. But, talks with James Franklin. We'll see what happens to him. As Aaron has pulled up right now, there's a lot of coaches right now in the hot seat. So, we'll see what happens between now and then. It's no surprise to me that Mark Stoops and Hugh Freeze is at the top of this list by Andy Staples. I think this game today, and we can get into it maybe later, but both of these guys are coaching for their job today, I think. So
yeah, I think get Bill Belichick off there. He had a big win last night.
Yeah, man, right? So good for BB. I'm sure he's happy about that, but we'll see about Mike Norvell, Jonathan Smith, Luke Fickle. I don't think Brent Venables is obviously going anywhere. Not at the end of this year, but yeah, where does James Franklin go? We'll see.
I've also heard rumor of James Franklin to Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
I've seen some smoke to that one too.
That was the rumor I was getting last night. Was James Franklin at Virginia Tech? Here's why I like that one probably above anything else. Although Virginia Tech has been asleep for a long time, I don't think they've had a winning season, or if I'm remembering that right, since like 2009.
Was that with old Frank Beamer?
I think maybe they haven't won 10 games or something since 2009. That may be what I'm thinking. Probably should have written that stat down because, as we learned in our comments, me just doing things off the top of my head makes people upset. But, it's been a while for Virginia Tech to have a really good season. And James Franklin, he's kind of got the aura and he's kind of got what seems like the energy level to do a rebuild if he's got an engaged fan base. And of the schools, the jobs that are open right now,
the 12 of them.
Of the 12 of them, other than LSU and Florida, Virginia Tech, you want to talk about a fan base that has shown up and showed out and waded through all the crap and said, hey, we're going to show up on Saturdays for college football, even though our team is not good. It is Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is not one of these schools that's in this position where you're like a UCLA, a USC before Lincoln Riley went out there, where they're showing pictures of just a horribly empty stadium and a fan base that's not tailgating. They don't care. That is not Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a unique place. They've been showing up. They love college football. They
arguably one of the best entrances in college football. Enter Sandman.
It's the house that Frank Beamer built, baby.
And there are college football fan bases that want to be really good, and there are college football fan bases that say, hey, good or not, we love our football program and we're going to show up. So if you're James Franklin and you're looking at the list of schools that are open and maybe Florida is not in the cards for you, I don't think he's a good fit for LSU. I hope LSU has learned their lesson. Don't bring guys from the East Coast down there. But Virginia Tech seems like a really good fit. I could see him at Florida State. I think if Florida State really does pull the trigger on Mike Norvell, I think Florida State could be a really good fit for him. Other than that, if it comes down to it, I think Franklin wants to coach bad enough that he would entertain a place like an Oklahoma State or a Baylor. I don't think in this climate, with the amount of jobs that are open, he's going to end up at a school like that. I think if you're a Florida State, you look at his record at Penn State, you would go, we'd take that. We'd be okay with that.
10 wins every year.
Yeah, maybe it's a right seat, wrong bus thing. Like, he's a great head coach, but Penn State's just not the fit or whatever it is. But yeah, if you could say, hey, we're going to have 4 or 5 10-win seasons in a row. We're going to be a national contender. He's going to be able to recruit out of Florida. That could be an interesting thing for him. But, the rumors last night that I was seeing was a lot of Virginia Tech. And I noticed Papa Stress said Virginia Tech's going to go after Shane Beamer.
Shane.
I agree they're going to go after Shane Beamer.
I don't know if he'll take it, though. I kind of noticed after watching Any Given Saturday, it seems like he kind of wants to get out from his father's shadow.
I think he loves being at SC. I really do.
I think so too.
But then again, I also thought I thought Lincoln Riley loved being at OU, and then USC drops a bag in front of him, and he's like, "I'm out. Give me a helicopter. Get me out of Oklahoma. I'm out of here."
I would not want to work at the place that has a statue of my dad in front of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think any son who has a father that does or has done anything close to what like their passion in life is, would not want to be like, hey, I'm already being compared to my father. Let me go to the same place that he was the most successful in and hear all the time, well, I mean, that Shane Beamer, he's good, but he's no Frank Beamer now.
Yeah, that would get on my nerves.
Yeah, I mean,
quickly.
It just, I mean, and it's happened other places. I mean, there are. I think it's going to happen at North Carolina. I still maintain. I think the only reason Bill Belichick took the North Carolina job was to be able to hand it over to his son in 2 or 3 seasons. But if you're Shane, I wouldn't go out there. I think Franklin's a great fit for Virginia Tech. I don't think he's a bad fit for Florida. But would you want to go to a place where you feel like the school is settling for you because they couldn't get Lane Kiffin?
Yeah. That's a good point. Or do they go out and get Bob Chesney?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like the girl that, her best friend's a guy that she friend zoned forever, and then they turn 30, and all of a sudden she's like, well, you know what? He's not such a bad guy. It's like
a little Barney Stinson, Robin Scherbatsky deal.
Yeah, like,
hey, if we're both 40 and we're not married, we should get married. One of those little things.
Want to be the school that is like, well, we really wanted Lane Kiffin, but I guess we'll take James Franklin. I don't know if you want to be that guy, but that would be. I feel like James Franklin will be. I think he's going to be one of the top choices on several of these schools' short list. I don't think there's any need for him to feel like the second choice, because I think it's obvious. And according to our comment section, a lot of Ole Miss folks don't think that Lane Kiffin's going to leave either, and he's an alpha, which was that's the most
the funniest comment that I've ever seen on a single. I've been doing social media, video content on social media for about 6.5 years now. That's the funniest comment I've ever read in my entire life. That was hilarious. But yeah, I think teams like Florida, they can really pick whoever they want, and I do think that James Franklin will be at the top of that list. Whether he ends up there or not, I don't know. After we talked about it a little bit more, I do think that he would be great at Virginia Tech. I don't know. There's something about something about that school, and you know, it feels very Penn State of the ACC. I think, and it feels like the perfect pick, you know, put a guy like James Franklin there.
I mean, in Blacksburg, right? Blacksburg, Virginia. I mean, and to be completely honest, I know that when James Franklin left, we were like, you know, he couldn't win the big one or whatever. But James Franklin has had enough success as a college football coach. Because for, you know, Strez and I think sometimes it's just not our fault. But because of the schools we root for, our bar for successful head coach,
really high.
But James Franklin, for all his I can't win the big one, has been one of the top 10, maybe you could make an argument for top 5 college football coaches in the country for a large part of his tenure at Penn State. And he has earned the right to be able to have a big job. I don't think this is a situation. I don't think this is a Les Miles at Kansas situation where he leaves LSU and he's like, well, I guess I'll go to Kansas. I don't think James Franklin is that. I don't think that, you know, Les Miles was a flash in the pan at LSU. Yes, he won a national championship, but then like next year you were like, he's not that good a coach. Like this is LSU's a weird place. The recruits want to come there. Like it's a different spot. He's gonna, he should be at a place like a Kansas. James Franklin feels like, hey, if you're gonna take a step down, go to a place like Virginia Tech is a really good, fun, exciting place to end up.
Yeah, and like what we've seen so far this season, that conference,
wide open.
Year in, year out, wide open.
Yeah,
wide open.
Who's the best team in that conference right now?
I mean, isn't it? No, BYU is Big 12.
I think they play Louisville.
Georgia
today,
Tech,
right?
Yeah, they're playing Louisville today. Yeah, Georgia Tech's the best team in the conference right now. Yeah. Next year it could be Miami. No, you know, next year it could be. I don't even. You know, you can throw any of these names out there.
You're Franklin, and that's the 2 teams the next 3 years that you got to worry about because you're looking at the trend Clemson's on, and you go, I don't think they can fix that in one off season. So I got to go up against Georgia Tech and Miami. And you're telling me because I'm at Virginia Tech, I can now recruit into Florida. And because Georgia Tech's in Atlanta, that gives me some recruiting stuff in the South. Like I can get down there and talk to kids about how their parents can come watch them play in Atlanta. We play Georgia Tech week, whatever. And all I got to contend with is these 2 teams, whereas in the Big Ten, as of 2 years ago, all of a sudden it's like, hey, as if recruiting wasn't hard enough for you in the Big Ten, we're going to add USC, we're going to add Oregon, we're going to make your job even harder to recruit. Oh, now you can go down to, I mean, that's a good spot. That seems like fun to me. If I was a head coach, I'd go, okay. Let me reset a little bit. Go to a place that's got exciting fans that want to win. Let's go down there. So, in other news, when it comes to college football, LSU cleans house. Boys, let's just let's take our fan hats off for a second and be real honest. College football might matter more to the state of Louisiana than it does any other state in the entire country.
Oh, I can definitely believe that. I mean, I played with so many guys from there in college. They love football in Louisiana. Like, they love football in Louisiana. Which, by the way, I cannot believe that the Saints are moving off of Spencer Rattler to put in frickin' Tyler Shuck. We're talking about one of the best football states in America. And your pro team is playing the worst quarterback I've ever seen to get drafted into the NFL?
One of the best football states in college.
Come on,
NFL,
man.
That's a different story.
I know.
And
It's just, yeah, but I mean, it's the same fan base. You know, like they root for the Tigers on Saturday, and then they root for the Saints on Sunday. They're not having a good year this year. It's just it's just not good. And now they have to watch Tyler Shucked after they go to church on a Sunday morning, and they get out of church and like, oh, Tyler Shuck just threw his 4th interception of the first quarter. Here we go. I feel bad for him, but yeah, it's important in Louisiana.
Yeah, they've been in this lull since Sean Payton and Drew Brees has left. It's like they still haven't figured out who's the quarterback and who's going to be the head coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Same thing at LSU.
Yeah.
Who's the quarterback and who's going to be the head coach?
I mean, Governor was on Pat McAfee. I think it was yesterday.
I saw that.
I mean,
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
listen. If Oklahoma decides to move off of Brent Venables in the next 24 months, if Kevin Stitt shows up on my TV, the governor of Oklahoma shows up on my TV talking about
And just blatantly lies on national TV about how the taxpayer is going to have to foot the bill for the buyout. That is not how college football contracts work, my friends.
no,
Maybe in Louisiana.
No.
He's crazy.
if he
It was
would've-
just wild to me that he came out and he said, all right, Brian Kelly's essentially gone, and the AD is not picking the next head coach. You know what? He's gone too.
I
Just
mean,
wild.
I
love football that much in that state.
They really do.
If I could start it over with my fandom, and you said you got to pick a school, like Aaron, the University of Oklahoma is doing away with their college football program. You got to pick a school. I'd be like LSU. I am now an LSU Tiger fan because there's the SEC. It means more, and then I think it should be except for LSU where it really means more.
It means the most.
Like it's just the most wild thing in the world. The governor's doing the like podcast circuits. He's talking to media members. I mean, they held the meeting to get rid of Brian Kelly at the governor's mansion.
You guys remember that part in Any Given Saturday when Shane Beamer was talking about when he was a kid going to the DMV, getting a renewed or new driver's license, and when the guy handed it to him, he kind of held on to it, and he was just like, if you want to keep this, you better win. Tell your dad to get some more wins. I feel like that's kind of what it's like, and Louisiana times 10. Like, he probably can't even go to Long John Silver's to get a L3, whoever coaches there, without them grabbing onto that hush puppy before they get, hey, you want to eat this hush puppy? You better win. You want to keep eating hush puppies and crawfish? You better win.
Now I want some hush puppies. Dang it, Steve.
Crawfish, right?
Shout out Long John Silver's, underrated. Here's what I will say, because I know that LSU fans. What I don't like about college football is, and because of my ties to Illinois and my ties to the Midwest, sometimes Midwest and East Coast and West Coast schools can get really elitist about Southern football fan bases and Southern schools. They can act very elitist about it. There are some schools that you might want to take a little bit of a page out of LSU. Maybe you don't want to go to the extreme when you want to get your governor involved and all this stuff. But if you want to win, if you really say, hey, there are schools that say, hey, our standard is national championship or bust. There are schools that say that. And then there are schools that say it and mean it. And LSU means it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a list of 5.
Yeah.
Right now, schools that is actually the case.
They mean it when they say it's national championship or bust.
Yeah, and so that this head coach hiring in like the next structure of their coaching staff is going to be very, very important, because I don't believe now, especially in the 12-team era, LSU fans are not going to be patient on a slow rebuild. It needs to happen quickly.
Yeah, I 100%
like
agree.
quickly.
I mean, guys, if for anybody that's watching, that they fired one of the best athletic directors in the country, an athletic director who has overseen national championships in baseball, national championships in women's basketball, an unbelievable gymnastics program.
I mean, there was a year where LSU had the face of college football, the face of college baseball, the face of women's college basketball, the face of women's gymnastics, on campus at the exact same time. Like, LSU is no joke when it comes to athletics, period. And the fact, you're right, like the fact that they did that is wild.
There's a great documentary thing, too. I know I've talked about it before on the pod. That came out, I want to say, a year or two ago. And it's all about LSU and, of course, the NIL and stuff. But they're following Jaden Daniels. They're following a guy on the men's basketball team. They're following Angel Reese, Livy Dunn. Paul Skeens played there. Like you guys said, a lot of their different programs and sports have been contenders, making noise. So it's just a rich sports town and state specifically there, where LSU is at. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, especially with the football program moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, and whoever, the AD, he's going to land in a great spot. There's a school right now that I guarantee you they were making calls. They were, hey, how I get that guy's number the second that they fired him. I don't think he deserved to be fired. I understand the Brian Kelly, hey, let's cut it. It's not working, especially the things that came out after that basically say Brian Kelly might be the biggest POS in the history of college football coaches. I get the Brian Kelly firing, the athletic director firing. That is just a knee-jerk reaction to our college football team is not good, because not only is LSU's athletic department in a fantastic spot, they were one of the first schools to really understand the NIL thing and to really make it a part of their culture of their athletic department, to really be at the very forefront of how to do NIL in a way that can really improve not just your college football program, but your athletic department in general. I've been down to that campus a couple of times. I've seen some of the things that they do for their players to, help them with their social media platforms, to help them with media training. I mean, they get it. And that athletic director was the one leading that charge. I don't think he should have been fired. I think anytime you get politicians involved in sports, it's never good. Ever is it good. And if you're the governor of LSU, you're looking at this as like, hey, if I step in on this and I become a part of the process of the next head coach at LSU and he wins the national championship, I could be the governor of this state for the next 50 years. Because I was the governor that stuck my nose in it and became a part of the process to get LSU football fixed. And I just think it's a bad look. I don't think they should have done it. But again, LSU football means more to LSU than anywhere else. I guess. I thought our schools loved college football. I don't think we love it. I don't think we love it like LSU loves LSU football.
Maybe. I think it's done differently in Norman and in Columbus. I think there were some credible reports of like bomb threats at the Day family's house after the Michigan loss last season. Like, there were some Ohio State fans that went freaking crazy. But
the Park Norman PD outside of Lincoln Riley's house.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So it does happen, but not in this. Not so much so that the governor of Ohio is getting involved in Ohio State's, because I think out of anything in the state of Ohio, I would probably say, even including their professional football teams, Ohio State, the university itself, is probably one of the best run things in the country or in the state of Ohio.
Yeah. Let's see here. Before we get into specific games, yesterday was a very interesting day for the Waterboys. It was a very interesting day for the Waterboys in general.
The Kentucky fandom in me, by the way, loves it. Just throwing that out there.
You do love it, or because I don't know that I loved it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that
I love the Willie Nelson comment. I digress.
The guy on the right needs to cut his dang hair.
So we had some people coming at us in the comments, so I went through and pulled some of the best zingers from our YouTube comments over the last 24 hours. Raiders at 48-62. Obviously a Raiders fan. Ohio State has a $20 million roster.
Which is incorrect. I'm pretty sure it's closer to $35 million this year.
Yeah, I was like, it's not $20 million. It's definitely higher. But to which one of us,
it was me. I responded to this one.
I didn't want to out you on it, but yeah.
I'll own this one.
Is everyone else incapable of spending? And then shout out to Arvid1802.
He's had some funny responses.
This guy is fantastic. It still wasn't the highest paid roster, not even top 3. So whoever Arvid or however you're doing 1802, thank you for making the comment section a lot more fun. For sure.
We may have to do a giveaway where the best comment, Steve sends you a country ham for Christmas or something.
Yeah, backstage tickets to a Black Stone Cherry concert or something.
I mean, it's
especially Hoosier fans.
That was hilarious. This one got a little wordy, but here it is. The Waterboys, you've just podcasted about what you've just podcasted about is one of the most insane, idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent description of Indiana football were even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. I mean, here's what I will say. Based on some of the other comments that I pulled, I don't think he's an Indiana public school graduate. I think he probably went to a private school in Indiana because at least the sentence structure is good.
Dude, I was going this video. I mean, I'm looking at the analytics right now, which, by the way, we've gained a lot of subscribers from this video alone. 1.2 thousand views so far. And the Indiana fans are so upset at the fact that we said that we trust Texas A&M and Ohio State more. Do you know why we trust Texas A&M and Ohio State more than we trust Indiana? Because Indiana has been good for 17 months. You have not been good for 2 years even at this point. It has been less than 2 years. It's been less than 24 months. And you guys are out here running your mouths like you run college football. Your entire fan base is a microcosm of the personhood of who we believe Kurt Cignetti to be. And it is the most annoying and insufferable thing in all of college football to this point. Right now, I would rather be locked in a room with Dave Portnoy over an Indiana football fan, because you people are so insufferable and so loudly incorrect with every take that you have week in and week out. I don't care that you beat Iowa by 5 points. Go win a national championship. You guys had the exact same season last year. You looked the exact same way last year. What happened when Ohio State came to town? What happened? I know. You want to know exactly what happened? We curb stomped you. It was embarrassing. What are we doing? I'm so tired of it. Say all you want in our comment section. I appreciate the engagement, but you guys are making yourselves look silly. And if this clip comes back to haunt me in December, I will eat my words and I will post a public apology to the Hoosier football fan base. But until you guys beat Ohio State and prove yourself to be a legitimate contender for anything above a college football playoff berth in the 12-team era, I will not trust you or your coaching staff.
Well, I'm ready for the Big Ten championship game now.
I have been since the beginning of the season. Let's go, baby.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to Indiana, I'm waiting on the Big Ten championship game. and to see if they can get past the first round of the playoffs. And I think those two things would kind of tell a lot, for all of us.
And I wanted to. You're mad they didn't win the championship yet. The season isn't over. Okay, Chris Webber.
Hoosier fans in here. I like it. We love you people in Indiana, by the way. I love you guys. And like
Here's what's wild.
We'll be the first ones to apologize if you guys advance past the first round of the playoffs.
Here's what's wild is you guys know my affinity and love for college basketball in that area of the country.
Very true. You have Indiana gear. You've worn Indiana gear on the show before.
I have an Indiana hat. I have a Butler polo. I have shot free throws in one of the gyms that's on the movie Hoosiers. I love the state of Indiana. My uncle is a tenured professor at Purdue. I love the state of Indiana. The reason, guys, that we do not trust Indiana, and this is not an elitist thing, this is not one of those things. There are two guys on this show that root for schools that between the two of them have 16 national championships. We know what teams look like when they are teams that can win a national championship, and we know when we have a team that is good enough to get to the dance but not good enough to win the dance. We have won and lost more national championships than most schools would ever dream of it. And so we know what it looks like when you go into a season and the expectation is here, and we look at it and go, yeah, but we got holes here. We can't do this thing well. Our schedule's not tough enough. We're not battle tested enough. I know what it looks like when the entire college football world is obsessed with, look at Oklahoma, look how many yards they throw for, look who's playing quarterback, look at the wide receivers that are going to get drafted into the NFL that are all over the field. Oklahoma shoe in to make it to the national championship, and then when all of college football is ignoring, including Oklahoma fans, the inept things that we don't do well because we're in the Big 12 and we're boat racing everybody. When I look at Indiana, and Indiana fans, you're not going to want to hear this, and I say this out of love and respect for Indiana Hoosier fans in the state of Indiana. You look just like 2016 Oklahoma. You have a quarterback that is a ton of fun to watch. You got a coach that is, a personality. Now, Lincoln Riley's is like watching paint dry, but no one could call a game on the offensive side of the ball better than Lincoln Riley could when he was in Oklahoma. It was mind-boggling, some of the things that he could come up with on offense. But I knew it, and Oklahoma fans that would be honest with themselves knew if we get into the college football playoff and we have to play these huge teams either from the Big Ten or the SEC that can slow us down offensively, we might be in trouble. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, like the Iowa game, for example, with Indiana, and I think what Indiana has done this year has been, like, impressive to watch.
Yes.
Like, teams aren't scoring like they were in the 2010s, going into 2020. Teams aren't scoring like that anymore because teams have valued defense so highly lately. And I think, like, what Indiana has done this season has been impressive. I'm not going to take that away from them. But when you played a team with a legitimate defense, you scored 20 points. And probably the only reason you won that football game was because you were playing an inept offense. That's not the case with Ohio State. Ohio State has the defense that has given up the fewest points through 7 games since 1993.
And it has been the punching bag of the Big Ten Conference since the Reagan administration.
Exactly. And like, I'm thinking about, like, if I were to watch Ohio State and Indiana play right now, I think Ohio State could probably hold Indiana to 20 points, 17 points, 24 points. And I'm probably going to take Ohio State's offense to score more. I just am, because I think Ryan Day and Brian Hartline and everybody that is on that offensive coaching staff will be able to handle business against a team like Indiana, who still doesn't quite have the same level of talent that Ohio State has. I mean, right now, Ohio State probably has 4 of the best players in the country on their football team. They've got Jeremiah Smith. They've got Arvell Reese. They've got Caleb Downs. And honestly, right at this moment, I'm probably going to put Carnell Tate up there. Oh, and by the way, Julian Sayin leads the country in almost every single quarterback metric possible. He's ahead of Mendoza in almost every single quarterback category possible. So that's why, like, when I talk about Indiana versus Ohio State, obviously there's some bias here. Obviously, I'm a massive Buckeyes fan. But when I'm looking at this through a lens of reality, I'm going to say Indiana is good. They are giving off Penn State, James Franklin era vibes. Well, they win a lot of games, and then when they play the big boys in the conference, they can't get it done.
Well, and we'll draw a direct comparison to another Indiana team. Indiana basketball in its heyday, you just kind of get a little something when you run out on the court in your Indiana basketball because there's tradition there.
And for years, IU football is what happens when the basketball team steals all the talent.
Yes.
Speaking like a true Kentucky fan.
Kentucky in the same place. When Kentucky runs out on the court, you go, hey, man, that's Kentucky. They're going to get some level of respect from college basketball fans because that's Kentucky. Indiana, when you guys were rolling and Bob Knight had that thing going, as a college basketball lover, I would look at the tournament bracket and I would see Indiana versus an Arizona, and I would say, I know Arizona is really good, but like, come on, this is Indiana basketball. What are we talking about? That's all we're saying is when you're a program that has tradition, there are people in the athletic department at Ohio State who have been a part of the athletic department. There are trainers, people in the office who have been through 3 different head coaches who all won national championships. They understand what it looks like. They know what it means. It's a part of their tradition. I'm not saying Indiana can't get there, but I'm saying is if you told me today, I gotta put money on it, Indiana or Ohio State, and I got one game for the world, and even if the teams were completely matched the same, I would say one of these teams has a head coach who's won a national championship and has a defensive coordinator who's won Super Bowls. I'm going to take that championship pedigree and I'm going to take that experience over the hotshot newcomer who hasn't proved that they can win a big game like that. That's all we're saying. We're not disrespecting Indiana at all. We're just saying you have to. It's not enough to just get to the dance. You got to win it at least once for everyone to everyone in your football program, your athletic department in general, to go, okay, so this is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. Now let's rinse, repeat. Let's do this again. Let's run it back.
Big Ten Championship's going to be fun this year.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be. It'll be one of the best, especially if it's the 2 teams that we're all hoping it is. It's going to be so much fun.
It should be. I think it should be. Again, Ryan Day's got a huge, hump he's got to get over at the end of the season. But I think this is the year that he's going to be able to do it. But again, week in, week out, Michigan's been looking better and better. But again, you mentioned Matt Patricia. He has schemed against Peyton Manning.
Yes.
He can probably take care of Bryce Underwood. He can probably take care of Fernando Mendoza. Like, I'll take that any day.
I may write Matty P in my will. Just saying. That's how much he means to me, and Josh McDaniels means to me.
Oh, God, keep that guy's name away from me, please.
Oh, I love him so
much.
much.
The damage he did to the Denver Broncos is just unacceptable.
But okay, Chris Webber just commented something. I want to address that here in a second. But before we do that, this was one of the funniest comments that we got. Hey, Waterboys! Like, the capitalization thing in comments is just weird to me. How's crow taste like? I read the sentence 4 times. I even read it to Brittany. If you're watching the show, it's my wife, and I was like, I'm not wrong. Like, this sentence completely makes no sense at all. So my comment was, assuming you are an Indiana public school education based on that sentence structure and wording. Yeah, like that was a lot of our comments was people that I could just tell they were just raging upset. They just like could not understand why we're acting this way. And then the best comment of the day so far really made me laugh, like LOL for real. You guys are clowns.
Maybe I should have loved you. You're always on my mind.
Tell Willie Ness on the right to get a haircut, which then I had to go to the defense of our boy. I said, I'll tell him. But he's a bass player for a successful rock band, so I think he will keep it. Like that, it's a funny comment, Joseph Brewer. If you see this, it's a funny comment. Like that trolling, I think is funny.
I loved it. I've been thinking about getting my ends trimmed, so thank you, Joseph Brewer 5523. You were in my mind.
Okay, so this is the last thing on the Indiana thing, and then we'll try to move on. Chris, I'll correct your sentence structure.
We do appreciate the he did point out that he likes to debate football. We love that.
I'll tell you what, my hat's off, by the way, to Clemson fans and Indiana Hoosier fans this season, because they have showed up in our comment sections and they have not disappointed. Thank you for the entertainment.
They did beat Oregon on the road. That's not a big game. Yes. But Oregon's never won anything either.
Also, Oregon was coming off of that overtime win against Penn State. Like the very next week was when they had to play Indiana at home. Like that's, I mean, you can throw anything you want into that. That's like perfect letdown area. You have to play a good team following a really emotional overtime victory in a whiteout. But now we've seen, Penn State may not have been
very
what
good.
They were cracked up to be, and Oregon barely beat them, and then you barely beat Oregon in a letdown. Like there's a lot of things that you could say about this, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt here. That is, going into Oregon and winning is a big thing. Ohio State's never done it, so that's a big accomplishment. I will give you that.
And if the video that we made was basically just an argument that Indiana's not a good football team, but the point of the video is, who do you trust? So Ohio State beat Texas. It wasn't a good win when it happened. Like when we watched that game, we were pretty honest. We were like, this is two teams with young quarterbacks that are really trying to figure it out.
Afraid to make the first mistake. Yeah.
Ohio State played to not lose the game, not necessarily like Ryan Day didn't go full playbook out on the field. We're running everything. I'm running trick plays. Ryan Day didn't coach that way. Sark was doing everything he could to try to minimize mistakes that Arch could make. The point of the video was, again, who do you trust? And our point was, Texas A&M has won some big football games this season. Big football games. Indiana's schedule going forward for the rest of the season is very, 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 very soft. Very soft.
Yeah.
They should.
That's what concerns me
win
about
out.
the playoffs, because they, them getting battle tested throughout the season before you enter the playoffs. I think that's crucial.
Yeah,
especially for a team like IU that's on the rise. They need those battle tested games and moments,
the tough
especially
games,
road games.
Yeah. Because last year for Ohio State, like going into their postseason run, they had Penn State and Michigan in November.
Yes.
So they were ready to go by the time December rolled around, and they had that loss against Michigan that was just like, things happened in that locker room, like big conversations happened, like all kinds of stuff went down. And so you kind of wonder, like, is there a chance that something like that can happen for Indiana? Is there something like that can like make them be like, okay, we better bring it every week, week in, week out? But I think the way that Kurt Cignetti coaches, like, and I talked about this, and I'm getting flamed in the comment section on that video. Like, Kurt Cignetti is gas, no break, all game long. Even with the third stringers in, he's still calling like he's calling the first 10. Yes. Like, they are not taking their foot off the gas pedal whatsoever. And people like to talk about how, Ohio State, didn't beat Illinois by the same amount of points as Indiana did. Illinois sleptwalked that entire game and still controlled it from opening kickoff to like the final whistle. Like I was
they had a lot of players hurt too that game.
Yeah, I'm like watching that game. I'm like, Ohio State sleepwalk. Like they look bored. And the reason why I'm going to trust Ohio State over any other team this season is because we are in week 10 today. And Ohio State has only given up 41 points total on the season. Their defense is averaging giving up 5.8 points per game.
There's only one other team in the entire country that if you said they get into the college football playoff, do you trust them? The only other team that I would trust is Georgia.
Yeah, Kirby Smart's been there.
Yeah.
They just won 2 years ago.
Yeah, they get it. They won back-to-back national
3 years ago.
championships. Like they were on the verge of breaking the 47-game winning streak that regular season game winning streak that Oklahoma has held since like the 50s.
Yeah.
So, like, there's the point of the argument is once you get into the college football playoff, what teams do you trust?
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to keep pointing it back to college basketball, but whenever Duke would come in as a 12 seed, I would go, yeah, but man, if they get on a run, they got Coach K. Like,
yeah, they're one of those. It's one of those programs. Yeah, and Indiana very well. Like, they can earn my trust, very much so. If they go out and they win out, and Ohio State goes out and does the same thing, and they play in the Big Ten championship, and Indiana beats Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, you guys are the shoe-in. You're the favorite to win it all this season. You will have my trust fully and completely. And until that happens, until I can see Indiana, beat the team that runs the conference and is the defending national champion, I'm going to trust Ohio State more. And that's all we were saying in that video. Again, I have a little bit extra bias. I don't like Curt Cignetti because I have to play him, every year and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think Indiana's been playing some good football this year.
Yeah, that's what's wild is we
Mendoza's going to be in the running for their Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, he might win it. I think Drew Mestamaker should be the one who wins it this season because North Texas. I can't wait for that North Texas Navy game today. It's happening at the same time as the Buckeyes game, so I'm not going to be able to watch any of it because I'm going to have Buckeyes full screen the whole time. Maybe once we go up 35-0 before halftime, I'll flip it over and double screen it. But
what's wild is Indiana fans that were coming at us in the comments, I kept wanting to go, did y'all see the video like 3 videos over on the same playlist where we make the argument that Indiana deserves their respect? Like we have a video.
Yeah, we have a whole video dedicated to that.
Like time to respect Indiana. Like an entire video where Steve's the one that basically makes the argument that we should start respecting Indiana. And then we got people coming after, I tell that redneck over there with the long hair. I'm like,
Steve is the biggest like Indiana defender in the Waterboys. Like he loves Curt Cignetti. It is funny. It just shows you that like
I love you guys, just not during basketball season. I bleed blue.
It's just like a little insight into like what it's like to put content out on the internet. People are going to only see the one thing that you say unless they follow you for a very long time. They won't really know where you stand on issues. It's funny, People come at me on my TikTok comments. I'm like, is this your first time here? Do you not understand like everything that I've said over the, thousands of videos that I've posted over the last 5? Like, what are we doing here?
Right. And again, I'll go ahead and maybe pledge on behalf of all of us here at the Waterboys. If somehow they can upset Ohio State in the national or the Big Ten National Championship, get past the first round of the playoffs this year, we'll be the first ones to jump on here and issue a massive apology.
Absolutely. I'll record a solo video in this exact outfit saying, I was wrong about Indiana.
We're going to fly to where Strez lives, and we're going to pinstripe him with IU colors.
If Indiana beats Ohio State for the Big Ten championship, I will be picking them to win the national championship.
As will I.
I'll go, okay.
Nope.
This is your marquee win. Now, you can do it. As we were saying earlier, this is a Statement Saturday. Vanderbilt, very similar situation to Indiana, with one difference. Vanderbilt keeps proving everyone wrong in games that they, going into the season, were not there. Vanderbilt last year was not Indiana. Like, we were seeing, like, hey, Vanderbilt's, they're okay. Like, maybe this isn't your grandma's Vanderbilt, but we weren't calling like they got a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback and they're the most exciting team in the SEC. Those were not the conversations. Number 9, Vanderbilt got to go down to Austin to play Texas in what I think is one of the most overhyped venues in college football. But whatever.
Wonder why he thinks that.
Yeah, I did. You guys don't even do normal tailgating. It's because it's Austin and you guys are weird. So some of the storylines, Vanderbilt's got to control the pace and keep the Texas offense off the field with long, efficient drives and win the turnover battle. If Texas wants to be competitive in this game, they've got to exploit Vandy's secondary with tempo and play action. Defensively, they're going to have to really pressure the pocket. Here's why I think, and we'll pick this game after we run through these real quick, but Diego Pavia is a little bit of a weird nut as a quarterback, in that when he pulls it to run, he can run.
Yeah.
He can run.
He's putting backyard football on the map in college football the past 2 seasons, especially, there at Vandy, and it's just fun to watch. He's not the tallest guy. He can't see over the O-line like some quarterbacks can. He's not going to have, any kind of crazy passing yards, at the end of the game like some quarterbacks can have. But he'll find a way. He'll use his legs and he'll use the other guys on the team to get the win. But yeah, I mean, his brand of playing backyard football, man, it's just been fun to watch down there in Nashville.
And Strez, to me, this game for Texas decides whether Sark is going to really take a serious look at the NFL.
Yeah.
Because you can't bench Arch. We've talked about it. He is the only college football coach in the country who cannot bench his starting quarterback.
Yeah. And I just checked. He is off the injury report. He's made it through concussion protocol. He's back. He's ready to go. Unfortunately for the Longhorns.
I think if you were Texas, you were kind of hoping, maybe sit out a week, maybe watch,
And he turned it on in the fourth quarter last week, he brought them back in that comeback and then got the concussion right before overtime, really. So, I mean, maybe something's clicked in Arch.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think they've had too many close calls, like with Kentucky, a game they should have lost. They had too many close calls on Mississippi State, where Mississippi State got up on them twice and should have probably lost that game. At some point, when are you going to get checked on that? And I think Vanderbilt's one of those teams that could check you on that today.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think having to go to OT, having to win in OT against Kentucky and Mississippi State. Now, granted, this isn't the same Mississippi State that we're accustomed to over the last decade since Dak was there, really.
But if Kentucky had if the same quarterback Kentucky has right now, if this was his second year instead of his first year, Kentucky probably wins that football game.
Yeah, and I don't think that serves well for the prospect for Texas in this game, which I can't believe that Texas is favored by 3.5 points in this one. Does that seem crazy to you? Like, I understand that it's in Austin. Does that seem crazy to you guys that Vanderbilt, with like a Heisman hopeful, is 3.5 point underdogs going into this game?
I mean, listen, we watched UTEP. We watched we always say it's the wrong school, Sam Houston. We watched Sam Houston and UTEP play them close in Austin at points in the game. Now, obviously, both those games, the ending score looks a lot better. But, first half.
And we watched Vandy play Bama close in Tuscaloosa this season.
Yeah, Vandy's got, they only have the one loss, against maybe the best team in the SEC. I still think that Bama might be for real. You lose week 1 on the road,
quarterback is legit.
Yeah, Ty Simpson has grown tremendously since week 1. I think outside of Julian Sayin, I would say that the best, the most development from week 1 to week 10 has been Ty Simpson at Alabama. And I trust Alabama's defense a ton. So, the fact that that's Vandy's only loss, and it was in Tuscaloosa, I think we need to be, really serious about, who Vanderbilt actually is. And right now, I'm going to be taking, Vandy over the Longhorns in this game because I'm taking Diego Pavia over Arch Manning.
Didn't they only lose by a touchdown in Tuscaloosa, right?
A
field goal.
I think it was a score and a half. It was a 9 points,
but it was closer than that.
It was 30-14. Final score was 30-14. But I think the game, as the game wore on, I just think that Alabama's talent and depth kind of ended up winning the game by more points in the fourth quarter.
That's the thing. I don't think Texas has as much talent and depth this season as Bama does, or like they had last season.
Well, I think Texas's defense does.
Their defense, yeah.
But I think offensively they're a little bit
they have no identity yet this season.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. So.
Yeah, Steve's right. You still really don't know what does Texas do well on offense. You're still really not sure.
Yeah, because we thought, I say we, the royal we, nationally, we thought that their defense was going to be the best defense in the country this season.
Yep.
And they've been top 10 defense in the country this year. But then we thought, they've got Arch Manning. Nationally, it's there were people out there saying that Arch Manning was going to be the best quarterback that we've seen since Tim Tebow. Heisman front runner, preseason number 1. We also thought that they were going to have one of the best running games in the country this season, but it's just none of those things have been true.
No.
They've just constantly been under expectations all season long.
Absolutely. And looking at the Longhorns team stats on the score right now, on offense, total yards, they're 77th in the league. Passing yards, 68th in the league. Rushing yards, 90th.
Yikes.
Points at 29, they're at 66. Third down percentage, they're at 84th. The defense, rushing yards, they are third in the league. So we'll see how that fares against Pavia whenever he takes off and starts using his legs. But, if they're going to be serious this year and make it to the playoffs and maybe make a deep run, you have to start looking at, right now, this game for the Longhorns, for their offense, getting some kind of better rhythm and identity for sure. You're going to have to get some kind of identity going into the playoffs. And today needs to probably be that game.
Yeah, and looking forward on Texas's schedule, they got Vandy today, and then they go to Georgia, and then they have to play. They're going to get
curbed.
That's going to be an embarrassing football game. And then they have to play Arkansas, the old Southwest Conference rivalry game. I was born and raised in Arkansas. Hating Texas is in my blood. So, the fan base is not going to take that game lightly. And at that point in the season, they're going to be going into their, their coaching search, because I don't know that Bobby Petrino's quite the guy, but he might be at that point. If Bobby Petrino goes out and they beat Texas,
he's there for the next 10
years. He's getting a lifetime contract. I could say that without a doubt. If that happens, Bobby Petrino is going to be at Arkansas for the rest of his life. But then they finish the season against Texas A&M, who we were just talking about, 15 minutes ago. We probably trust the most outside of Ohio State this season.
Yep.
So, Texas does not have an easy road up ahead of them, and I fear that today's going to be the nail in the coffin on their postseason dreams.
Yeah, we'll pick it officially here in the last 15 minutes of the show, but I totally agree. the world's largest outdoor cocktail party happens 2:30 today.
Baby, you a song, you make me want to roll my windows down.
Hey, sing their other hit song, "Stay." You know, because
that's true. You guys wrote that one. I don't know that one though. I'll be honest.
Little biased, but you know.
I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that Florida can win this game, but I'm always going to say the same thing when it comes to rivalry games.
Anything
There's weird things that happen in rivalry games that make no sense to anyone. If you're Florida, your season's over, but man, nothing would make you happier than to just play spoiler to Georgia, and they're going to coach with everything they've got. Their head coach is gone. You know, that whole thing. They got nothing to lose and everything to gain by just having this one to hold over Georgia fans all year. But I think Kirby Smart probably doesn't have a problem here.
Is this game typically played at a neutral site? It's in Jacksonville at Everbank Stadium.
Yeah, I don't think it typically, but this is a new thing. Anytime Georgia plays, they're trying to figure out a way to stick it in an NFL stadium. That's the new thing the SEC likes to do. So
that's so dumb. And Georgia's only 7.5-point favorites.
It's a weird line.
That's weird.
I don't really understand what everyone else is seeing, but maybe is your smoke
meatloaf's done? Mom, the meatloaf, it's done.
Somebody burning eggs. I hope
eggs
it's
and meatloaf.
I hope it's just eggs, because that could be a really hilarious thing if he comes back. He's like, something's on fire in the kitchen. Oh, I got to hop.
Tired of eating sloppy, slimy eggs.
Number 23 USC at Nebraska.
Oh boy.
That mighty Big Ten matchup, USC Nebraska. USC's got a shaky defense. That's no big shocker that USC's got a shaky defense. That's Lincoln Riley.
That's a lot of injuries too in the running back room.
Yeah.
Nebraska's got a shaky O-line too.
I put this down here.
Sorry about that.
Did you burn some?
No, our heater kicked on, and all the dust that settled onto the unit is like burning off.
Yeah.
It's cold in Kansas City this morning, boys.
West Coast Flash versus Midwest Smash Mouth. As a Oklahoma Sooners fan, I hope Matt Rule and Nebraska win this game by 50.
Come on.
No, as a realist, I'm a big Matt Rule fan. I think he has had one of the hardest jobs in college sports to take over Nebraska, who is just thought since 1999 they're just the right coach away from being back. They moved out of the Big 12. They should have never left. It completely screwed up their entire recruiting base. It has been one of the worst moves, I think, for any school in college football history as far as conference alignment goes. I think obviously USC's got the better offense. Dylan Raiola has kind of done this all season long. Up and down, up and down, up and down. But listen, Nebraska's a hard place to play at. I don't care what that is. A big stadium that is loud, and USC is going to try to bring their high-powered offense in there. If I am Matt Rule and Nebraska, this is. Hey, Matt Rule, you want me to give you a recipe to beat Lincoln Riley? Don't do what every other team that has played Lincoln Riley has gotten suckered into doing.
Don't try to keep up.
Yeah, don't try to. It's a boat race. You can't win, Matt Rule. It is a boat race. You will not win.
You got to slow it down. You got to do this. It's like playing against like the Chiefs in 2021.
That is a perfect example.
If you can run the ball, 13 play drives, finishing in touchdowns because field goals ain't going to do it. Keep Mayava off the field. Do everything that you can to slow the game down, and hope that you can maybe force USC to make a mistake because you're not keeping up here. In this game, two things. One, Nebraska should feel disrespected that they're a 2-loss team and not in the in the AP top 25.
100%.
And two, Matt Rule just got paid.
Yes.
And like I said, he was staying in Nebraska. Newly extended Matt Rule should feel pretty comfortable that if he messes up today, it's going to be okay.
Yep.
And I don't know if, Nebraska's defense can keep up with USC, because when you factor in that USC converts 57.5% of its third and fourth downs, that's fourth best nationally. And, that USC offense simply just doesn't stall. So,
well, and one of the best things about USC on that third down conversion, Steve, is they're really good about getting themselves in third and short situations when first down doesn't go well.
Yeah.
That's something Lincoln Riley has always done really well. He is not a run the ball on first down type of guy. Like, he's willing to take a shot downfield on first down to try to throw you off. And if it doesn't work, that's not his best call. His best call is, I got a second down play, will put me in a third and short. And it's going to really take a lot of wind out of your sails as a defensive coordinator to go, man, we can't stop them on third down, but also every time we're trying, it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and so they're incredibly, good at that.
They also rank first nationally. USC does in EPA per pass, and that's just something that's going to be hard for Nebraska to kind of stop.
Yeah, slow that ball down, Matt Rule. Slow it down. Lull people to sleep. I want them to show the stands, and there's a Nebraska fan that's taking a nap in the second quarter because you are just playing 5 yards in a cloud of dust football, and USC's quarterback having to keep himself warm on the sideline throwing footballs because he's sitting for 7-8 minutes at a time. That's your best way to stay in this game.
They also rank first nationally, and USC does an available yards rate at an incredible 67.4%.
Yeah, they can score. Yeah. They can score in bunches. I know he's taking a lot of shots. I as an Oklahoma fan, I don't like the way he left Oklahoma. But put all the chips out on the table. Lincoln Riley is still one of the most elite play callers in the history of college football. And of the last 25 years, the teams that he was able to field offensively changed the way a lot of schools, including Ohio State, looked at, hey, let's bring in we don't have to just play Big Ten smash mouth football. It's fun as a defense to watch your offense go out there and be able to throw it around, dual threat quarterbacks. I mean, a lot of what Lincoln Riley did, all of Mike Leach and that coaching tree, it's changed the way that college football RPO. I mean, it's great stuff. So, but yeah, I'm really hoping they can figure out a way to stay. Talking about statement Saturday, number 18 Oklahoma at number 14 Tennessee. This is still, as long as Josh Heupel is at Tennessee, this is always going to be one of the most interesting matchups in the entire country. Because can you think of another time that a guy who was a national championship quarterback at a school coaches at another school and then goes and plays his old team every year? I mean, it's like you couldn't write that in a movie. So you got Heupel and Tennessee with their high-powered offense. Oklahoma's got to go to Knoxville. We might have a healthy John Mateer for the first time since the week before the Texas game. Oklahoma, if you're Brent Venables, this is a really good opportunity. I don't think, as an Oklahoma fan, we're not set up to make a deep playoff run. We don't have it. The running game we can't figure out. We bring Jaden Knott in, and it's not working. But if you're Oklahoma, you can really shake up the SEC today if you can figure out a way to go into Knoxville, keep this thing close going into the fourth quarter, and put yourself in a position to win something with a field goal. I am only wanting Oklahoma to win, not because I'm a fan. I think our season's down the tubes at this point, but I'm cheering for this, for the craziness of this is going to create another situation where there's probably a 2-loss team at the end of the year that the committee is going to have to figure out how many 2-loss teams from the SEC are you going to let in the college football playoff.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the key culprit for last week for Oklahoma was 17 missed tackles against Ole Miss after missing 12 apiece against South Carolina and Texas. And now Oklahoma ranks 97th in that area. So, they're going to have to get that figured out. They're going to have to make some more tackles today against Tennessee. And some of those design play calls for John Mateer are going to have to get a little bit better. Mateer hasn't gained more than 24 rushing yards on design calls since week 3 against Temple. So if they can kind of address those two areas, I think maybe the Sooners can get one on the Volunteers today.
It is kind of shocking, those missed tackle statistics for a Brent Venables coach defense is just that's actually really shocking. And in reality, I mean, you go back and you watch the game, you rewatch the games, you're like, oh, yep, that's why they lost.
Yeah,
that checks out. That's why they lost those games. If they make even half of those tackles, they're handling business against Texas and Ole Miss probably.
Yep.
Because the defense played really well against Texas. Really what lost them that game was the 3 interceptions from John Mateer, one of them being, a pick 6. That's really what it was that lost those games. But if you can make those tackles when you need to make those tackles, it's a completely different outcome. So they're going to have to do that today against a Josh Heupel offense. Like, you have to tackle against the Josh Heupel offense.
Exactly, because, Tennessee's passing offense has done nothing but thrive, with head coach Josh Heupel's wide split stretch spread, producing, a massive EPA on hitch routes. The Sooners, though, they have been fantastic against the hitch, averaging 60% success rate against those routes by opponents. But, just got to get the defense to wake up a little bit today and make some more tackles.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Aguilar is completing 66% of his passes for 2,344 yards, 9.3 yards per attempt for 18 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. This is by far his best season as a starting quarterback. I mean, I know his first 2 years were both at App State. And he made the jump to the SEC this year, but he has thrived under Josh Heupel's tutelage. You look at the difference this year for oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? He's at UCLA now. Iamaliava.
Yeah.
You look at the difference between his production last season to this season. Josh Heupel was largely involved in his success last year.
Yeah.
So that just tells you, Josh Heupel knows what he's doing on offense, and I would assume that if there's a defense that he might have some familiarity with, it's going to be Brent Venables' defense.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, Tennessee's defense, they have to improve defending inside zone. A run concept that will definitely be utilized by John Mateer and Torrey Blaylock today. While neither of the Sooners' top rushers has produced many yards after contact, both Blaylock and Mateer have created 21 explosive runs, though. So that's something that, the Sooners can take advantage of.
And Tennessee's defense is it's going to be what keeps them out of a deep run in the playoffs. If they go on to win out the rest of the season, which I don't know if they can because they've still got Vanderbilt on their schedule. But, if they do win this game and they go to win out this season, I'm not going to be very high on Tennessee just because their defense is giving up a lot of points. I understand their offense can score, but when you're playing, against the rest of the top 12 in the country, those teams can all score.
And they're ranked 112th in rushing EPA allowed, Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, they gave up 34 to Kentucky in their last game. 37 to Bama in their last game. Squeaked by Arkansas, giving up 31 in that game. Gave up 34 to Mississippi State. Gave up 24 to UAB. Yes. Shout out Alabama Birmingham, by the way. Gave up 44 to Georgia. Gave up 26 to Syracuse. That defense is a question mark, huge question mark.
You can slow them down if you're Oklahoma. If on those hitch routes and those crossing routes, as soon as the receiver does get the ball, he's tackled. Yeah. Where Tennessee gets really dangerous for you and it can turn into a boat race you can't win is when it's a hitch route or that crossing route and the yak yards start getting really out of control. and the wide receivers are running all over the field. And as a defense, you feel like I always think movie Remember the Titans. He comes back to the huddle after they play a team that runs like a shotgun 4 wide, and they're like, it's like watching Monday Night Football or something, coach. That's how it can get when you watch Tennessee. When you go, how many wide receivers are there out here? 12, 30? Like, well, how are guys running around? So that's kind of going to be a big key for them. Number 17, Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. Utah not getting the love that they should. As a couple of teams I feel the same way about in the Big 12 that I don't think are getting the respect that they deserve. This historic big, as Strez would say, a historic Big 12 matchup, Cincinnati.
Yeah, baby. Cincy, Utah. Back to the early days of the Big 12.
Cincinnati's got a decent defense. Their big key is probably going to be keeping the big plays in the run game for Utah at a minimum, especially on first down. Utah likes to do a lot of things on offense where they're using the run to set up the pass. You're going to have to figure out a way to slow that thing down. That's a 9:15 p.m. Central kick, which means Cincinnati fans are not going to be used to that. The ones that have made the road trip and the players are not used to that. You're playing a team that is very much used to playing late kicks in Utah, and that place is going to be rocking. It's going to be cool and crisp in Salt Lake Valley.
Game day's there, and they probably already started drinking at this point. I love the West Coast. Just shout out real quick. Thank you, Game Day, for making the change and going somewhere else. This one is actually really cool. There is a conversation about them going to the Henderson State Ouachita Baptist game in Arkansas next week because those two schools are across the road from each other. They get dressed in their own home locker room and walk across the street to play that football game every single year. They might be at that game next week, which would be crazy for them to go to a Division II game, especially after we post that video this week of like, why they always only pick the SEC? Well, this morning they started their show when the sun was still down. Shout out the West Coast. Shout out those Western time zones and the morning shows for College Game Day.
Yeah. All right, let's pick some games, boys. We've got 20 minutes here. Vanderbilt at number 20, Texas. Diego Pavia comes in. He's going to go head-to-head with what nationally was being considered the Heisman frontrunner in Arch Manning, who is just not figured it out. He's kind of trended down, whereas Diego Pavia's stock as a college football player I have not seen stock this high since Manziel, Mayfield, that type of because he plays his game very similar to those two guys. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He don't mind talking trash. He knows he's playing at Vanderbilt and that, he got nothing to lose. I know that Texas is favored in this game. I don't know how. I don't know if this is a situation of, they got the Longhorn on their helmet, so that must mean something.
Maybe just the home field thing, because it's like not a huge favorite. And I know sometimes like in the NFL they get like a 3-point bump if they're home team.
It's a good point.
It is weird. Like I wonder what the line would be if this was like a neutral site. I would assume it'd probably be like 1.5 points for Vandy. Yeah, because it opened at 2.5 points for the Longhorns, and it's gone up to 3.5 for them. It's just it's a weird spread. The points total 47.5 right now, so that they're expecting it to like not be like a crazy offensive shootout, but there'll be some points scored in this game. It's gonna be an interesting matchup today.
I'm taking Vanderbilt in the under. Texas has not showed me that they can get their offense they have not yet put 4 quarters together.
Except for Sam Houston.
Yeah, they really haven't put 2 halves together. And that includes Sam Houston, really. Like, they had some weird stuff in the first quarter. So I'm picking Vanderbilt by 10 in this game. Steve?
Oh boy. Vanderbilt just continues just surprise everybody from week in and week out. And the new element in Vandy right now with this team is McKeelan, I think so you say his first name, Young, who's posted 3 explosive runs in the past 2 games. The Commodores' ground attack has been one of the best in the country, but top 10 ranks in quality drives and finishing drives and made the most efficient unit in the SEC. Pavia also leads an offense that has the 14th highest rate of standard downs, combined with the best overall success rate in passing downs at 30.7 seconds per play. The Commodores' game plan, is to hold the edge in time of possession with a punishing ground game. And, when you look at the Longhorns, you have Arch Manning coming off a potential injury. Well, he did have an injury. He got took out. And how is he going to fare today? Texas nickel defense has destroyed teams running man and counter run concepts, 2 of the most, used packages by Vanderbilt. So there's that to consider, right? Or Vandy will have success with the inside zone, where the Longhorn success rate falls to 44%. Most importantly, Diego Pavia has only 3 rushing attempts off zone this season, with 20 going to Alexander. So, I think Vandy is going to continue their success with the running game this game, and I just kind of feel like they're on track to make a deep playoff run this season. I feel like, Pavia's brand of backyard football is just working there with everything that Clark Lee is scheming. So give me Vandy. I like Vandy by a touchdown.
Yikes. Good thing we don't put the graphic up, because I'm also taking Vanderbilt to win this one. Yeah. We have all 3 of us picking the same team, like one of those just bad juju type things. But no, I think I think what Clark Lee has been able to do with this team, I feel like every week they have they're one of those teams that's able to come up with some sort of bulletin board material. Clark Lee is one of those kinds of coaches that I think really carries a chip on his shoulder. He means business. I don't know if anybody, if you're watching this, if you're one of the, people watching this right now and you've never watched a Clark Lee interview, just asking about the team and stuff, go watch it. Dude will make you, he reminds me of Dan Campbell a lot. Makes you want to run through a brick wall. Yeah. And I like that. And you mix that together with Diego Pavia and with Vanderbilt team that's really, really good this season. I don't trust Texas. I mean, it took them until mid-October to beat a Power 4 team. So and that's the nature of their schedule and the teams that they played against. So I just have a lot of questions about Texas, and that's why I'm going with Vandy in this one.
World's largest outdoor cocktail party, Georgia at Florida. Neutral site game, though, kind of. It's kind of like when they say the SEC champion are neutral site, and I'm like, yeah, but every year the Georgia's it's in Atlanta.
It's in Atlanta every year.
So, I don't see any way Florida keeps this close. I think this comes down to Kirby Smart's going to decide how many points he wants to score. Do you want to come out and make a statement and put up 50, or do you want to be able to halfway through the third quarter be able to sit your starters and get those guys rested up for the rest of the schedule? So I'm picking Georgia, and it is probably going to come down to, again, how many points Kirby Smart wants to score. Stress?
Yeah, I'm riding high on this Gunnar Stockton kid. I was low on him at the beginning of the season because I just wasn't sure what he was going to be able to do for Georgia. I thought they were going to take a step back this season. And, I mean, in a sense, they kind of have. But literally, it's like they kind of got pushed and that one leg just kind of went backwards. It wasn't like a full step, but they kind of just kept their balance with that one push. I think Gunnar Stockton's been fun to watch this season, and Kirby Smart, is not going to let a team that has fired their head coach beat him in the regular season. That's just I don't think that's something Kirby Smart's going to do. So yeah, give me the Bulldogs in this one by multiple scores.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia has a run-heavy inside zone with quarterback Gunnar Stockton and running back duo Nate Frazier and Chauncey Bowens producing 10 explosive runs and 13 rushing touchdowns. The Bulldogs, they excel at shutting down rush explosives, ranking second nationally in 10-plus yards rushing attempts allowed. Georgia is the top tackling team in the nation per grading at PFF. And, in 27 opponent drives that crossed Georgia's 40-yard line, teams have averaged 4.2 points per trip. There's no doubt about the direction of the Gators offense, though, which will play, with a faster tempo thanks to interim coach. I expect quarterback DJ Lagway today to get the play early on the clock with less pre-snap motions. The focus will be on getting the ball into playmakers' hands, which is good news for freshman Dallas Wilson. Where the Gators get in trouble, though, is passing downs. Florida comes into this game at bottom 5 team nationally and passing downs EPA allowed. And Georgia has had plenty of success against teams using quarters coverage, the main tendency called by Florida coordinators Ron Roberts and Benny Sunseri. So, we'll see how things shake out, but yeah, I know that the Bulldogs has had a slow start in the first half of the games that they've played this season. Then they come out and they make adjustments. You got Kirby Smart. I have a lot of faith in Kirby Smart, and I think the Bulldogs are going to pull this one off today. I like the Georgia Bulldogs to really turn it on in the second half of the game and win by probably at least 10 points.
Yeah, that one's going to be the thing about the Florida-Georgia game. Last thought. Florida's got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're in a rivalry game. It's in Duval County. Weird things happen in Duval all the time. So I wouldn't be shocked if Florida were able to pull this off. I don't see it happening, but I think Florida just needs to take the reins off of DJ Lagway and just let him go play football. He's one of those kinds of guys that if he's really given the opportunity to just go out and have fun and play football the way he wants to play football, I think Florida could pull off the upset of the century in this football game. But
yeah, it reminds me a lot of Justin Fields when you just take the reins off of him. Just go be Justin Fields.
And I'll say this too: running back Jaden Bogg comes off a career high 150 rushing yards against Mississippi State, and it's sure to be a part of the new fast tempo there for Florida. So, he's someone to watch too. If you like betting on player props, I'm not sure what the over-under is on Jaden's rushing yards today, but maybe something I consider.
All right, USC at Nebraska, number 23, USC at Nebraska. We talked about it earlier. This one is really going to come down to if Matt Rhule gets sucked into, if they get down by a score or two, is he going to get sucked into trying to get it all back as quick as humanly possible? Is Raiola Raiola plays bad when he gets sped up.
Yeah.
And when he feels like that he's got to, he wants to be Patrick Mahomes, and so he starts feeling like, well, Pat would be getting all this back, and I'm going to try to go out here and, I'm going to audible weird things at the line. I'm going to, we're going to try to get it all back in chunk plays or whatever. If you're Nebraska, even if USC scores quick, let's say they get the ball, either start the game or at half, and they score really quick. What Lincoln is really good at doing is getting you to think that means you got to come right back out and answer quick.
Yeah.
And if you're Nebraska, jog on the field like it's the second practice of a 2-a-day, and you're just trying to make it through. Slow that thing down. So, make it to where USC, defensive backs are standing back there twiddling their thumbs, and you're just going, hey, we're going to get this back 4 yards at a time. We're going to make sure that you're cold by the time you have to come back on the field. If they can do that, could be a little chilly in Nebraska today. Could be a little chilly.
Definitely is.
Yep.
So 45, that could be 45 degrees
right now.
West Coast boys going to play in the 45 degree weather.
Yeah, LA to Lincoln, Nebraska. What a culture shock.
Yeah.
By the time the nighttime comes around, it might be
cold.
You know what? That's kind of affecting the way that I'm thinking about this game, boys.
I'll just come out and say it. I'm picking Nebraska to play spoiler today. I'm gonna feel really good about it if I see Nebraska playing slow, methodical football. Raiola is not a Heisman contender at this point. You don't need to go out there and go, oh, we're going to prove something that Dylan Raiola is a Heisman contender. It's not. That's over. Just go out there, grind that football game out. I'm picking Nebraska by 3 because I think that's how close it could be if Matt Rule is the coach that I think he is. So I'm picking Nebraska by a field goal. Stress?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Nebraska in this one. Nebraska has played some good football all season long.
Yep.
Their one loss is a 3-point loss, to the Wolverines, earlier on in the season. And ever since, I guess they've also got that loss at Minnesota. That was a weird loss 2 weeks ago.
Second year in a row they've had that weird loss to Minnesota.
Yeah, some schools just kind of have other schools' numbers. Yep. It's a really weird situation. But I think Nebraska's been playing some good football, and I think, like we said, the weather, I think the weather's going to play into this one. As much as we don't want to point that out in college football, like USC and UCLA being in the Big Ten, like when they have away games in November, it's going to matter. It's going to affect them, and I do think that that's going to play into it tonight. The Nebraska fans, that stadium's going to be rocking. Matt Rule, like I said, just got an extension. Nothing to lose here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Cornhuskers in this one. But I think that I'm gonna take them by a 1-point win. Give me a last second field goal or something to walk off this victory for them.
Steve?
There you go. I like it. USC's, I talked a little bit earlier about USC, but talking a little bit about some good things for Nebraska. USC's defense is quietly better than people give them credit for.
Yeah.
The Trojans rank 36 nationally in EPA per pass allowed, and a respectable 47.
That sounds bad. Lincoln Riley's coached with defenses that ranked in the hundreds.
Yeah, absolutely. One big concern I have about Nebraska, though, is they do have some injuries on the offensive line. The right tackle, Teddy Prochaska, I think so you say his name, is out, and the questionable status of Gunnar Gotula, both major blows for an offense that's already struggling, with consistency. Here's the thing. I'm going USC to win this game, and here's why. USC is the right side, and the numbers back it up. The Trojans' offense is built to shred a Nebraska defense that hasn't faced anything close to this level of explosiveness all season. USC is getting healthier with its offensive skill talent intact and only minor bumps up front. From a situational standpoint, this spot sets up nicely for the Trojans, in my opinion. They're coming off a bye week, which gives Coach Riley and his staff extra time to scheme against Nebraska's defense tendencies and allows the players to rest and recover from the early season grind. The additional preparation time also minimizes the typical travel fatigue, which is important, that comes in with flying to Lincoln, making this road trip, far less daunting and stressful than it otherwise would be. So with fresh legs, a top-ranked offense, a decisive advantage in the trenches, I think USC is positioned to control this game from the start to finish. Just to be honest, that the play is clear, and a matchup that favors the Trojans statistically, situationally, and physically. So, I think don't hesitate for all you sports bettors out there to lay the wood with USC, who should roll into Lincoln behind another statement performance from their higher-powered electric factory offense. So give me USC. They're coming off the bye week. They're going to be well-rested. Got some injuries on that O-line for Nebraska. But, I think it could be close. I could see USC maybe winning this one by a field goal.
Yeah, the spread dropped from 6.5 to 4.5 over the week, so it could be. I mean, Nebraska plays, they play that brand of football that can kind of slow it down and muck it up on defense a little bit. They've got big guys up front. But you're right, though. This USC offense, like Jade Mayava and what's his name, Makai Lemon, one of the best like quarterback wide receiver tandems in the country. And then I was just looking at, definitely. And I was just looking at their running backs. All three of their running backs who have at least 40 carries this season, averaging 5.6 yards or better. King Miller, I don't know if you guys watched the USC game last week. He had a game. It was awesome to watch him run the football last week. So, yeah, I mean, USC's offense is absolutely crazy this year. And like we were talking, Nebraska wants to have a chance in this game. They're going to have to slow it down. They cannot try to keep up.
Yeah.
Number 18, Oklahoma. At number 14, Tennessee. We're running tight on time, so I'm just going to be real honest about it. I think Tennessee wins this football game.
Wow.
I do not think that unless Oklahoma has figured something out in the last 7 days, that the running game is working. Ben Arbuckle, when he had the most success with Mateer, was being able to set up the run. And they have, because of the lack of production that they've had in their running game, even though I think we've had a couple of running backs that have shown an ability to break off some good runs, that offense is really predicated on Mateer getting into a rhythm by being able to run himself. Like, he needs to be able to be a threat in a quarterback designed run, and the quarterback designed runs the last 2 weekends have not worked. And I think that makes him speed up his decision making. I think it makes him make weird decisions in the pocket, throw wide receivers either behind him or in front of him, or just blatantly throw it to the other team. So I am picking Tennessee. I think Knoxville's a tough place to play for anybody. That's one of those atmospheres that's just freaky. And it's going to be at night. And then Knoxville's like a little bit like Death Valley. There's Knoxville during the day, and then there's Knoxville, Tennessee at night, and that's going to be tough. So I'm picking Tennessee on this one today. Stress.
Yeah, I don't. This game's weird. Has this felt like one of the most impossible seasons to pick games? I feel like I get most of my picks wrong every single week, which is embarrassing. But also at the same time, it's just like that's just kind of how this football season has gone. I don't know. I think John Mateer is going to feel more healthy this week than he has since a month ago. I think Oklahoma's going to be able to move the ball well, and I do think that OU's defense is going to wake up a little bit in this game. They're playing for their season. Every game is a playoff game for the rest of the year for Oklahoma and Tennessee. So this is going to be a fun football game to watch later this evening. So, but that being said, I think I'm going to take the Sooners in this one. I'm not out on them yet. I've been high on John Mateer this season. I'm not out on him yet. So I think he's going to come back and he's going to look a lot more crisp, a lot more clean. And I do think that they're going to be able to get the run game going today. So give me the Sooners.
Yeah, something that doesn't get talked about nowhere near enough. Joey Aguilar is statistically the best quarterback in the SEC, one could argue.
He's balling.
He's got 2,344 yards. He's ranked first there. 18 touchdowns. He's ranked second there. Rating 162.8. He's first there. Average yards per completion 9.3. He's ranked second there. Oklahoma ranks 6th in contested catch rate, one of the numbers that has the Sooners defense sitting at 2nd in havoc. Tennessee comes in at just 83rd in creating missed tackles, a number that indicates the Oklahoma defense should return to form. The Volunteers defense, like I said earlier, they've got to improve in defending inside zone. Again, I think that's a run concept that's definitely going to be utilized by John Mateer and Torrey Blaylock today. And, while neither of the Sooners' top rushers has produced many yards after contact, both Blaylock and Mateer have created 21 explosive runs, and I think that'll be the difference maker today. While Tennessee will struggle to stop the pair at the line of scrimmage, and when it comes to limiting explosiveness, owning a rank of 112th in rush EPA allowed. So I'm going with the Sooners today, but if I was betting on this one, I like taking Oklahoma on the spread at +3.
All right, last game of the day, late game, 9:15 Central. Number 17 Cincinnati at number 24 Utah. I went back and forth on this game. I've seen Utah play really, really well. I've seen Utah struggle at times. I think both of these teams are underrated college football playoff contenders. I think the Big 12 in general does not get the love it needs because there's no blue bloods. They're a conference without a blue blood program now. And so, there are programs who are looking to make their mark, and I think Utah is one of those. I think this sets up really well. You're having to go all the way from Ohio out to Salt Lake City. You're playing late in the cold weather at a school that has got a really underrated college football tradition over the last 4 or 5 years. The Holy War was a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah.
That was a big eye opener for me. So I'm taking Utah in a close one here. Wouldn't shock me if Cincinnati wins this one, but I think the AP committee has got this game flipped. I think Utah is a better team than number 24 in the country, so I'm going with Utah in a close one. Steve?
I think I'm leaning the opposite. To me, this feels like a good time to fade Cincinnati. Playing its 6th straight game and already with its most wins since joining the Big 12. However, this number is just way too high for me, even in a very difficult road environment. Cincinnati has a top 10 offense in the country. The Bearcats are deep, balanced, and have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation leading the way. They just don't rely on 1 or 2 guys and can move the ball and score in a variety of ways, right? The Cats rank in the top 15th in both passing success rate and rushing success rate, but Utah has elite numbers on defense, especially against the pass. But it also faced only one competent passing attack and gave up 34 points on 6.7 yards per play. Outside of Texas Tech, it's faced UCLA, Cal Poly, Wyoming, West Virginia, Arizona State's backup quarterback, BYU, and Colorado. The defense is very good, but the numbers are greatly inflated by the lack of passing attack it has faced. Even Texas Tech lost its starting quarterback halfway through that game. Sorsby, will be the best quarterback this defense has faced all season by a mile. The Cincinnati defense, they have allowed teams to move the ball, but it blows up when it matters most, right? The Bearcats have the 2nd best red zone defense in the country. While they allow teams to move the ball, they don't give up chunk plays and have been one of the best defenses in the country at preventing explosiveness. But most importantly though, Cincinnati's defense ranks 6th in the nation in tackling. That's huge for containing Dampier and Parker out of the backfield and keeping everything in front of them. So, I still think, though, it's maybe kind of getting close to time to maybe fade Cincinnati a little bit. And I'm going to go with Utah on this one.
Everything you said felt like you were pointing towards Cincinnati. I'm pretty high on
changing it up.
I'm pretty high on Sorsby. I do think that Cincinnati's offense is really good. This kid's got 20 touchdowns to 1 interception this season.
Yeah.
That is wild. And then you throw in, how successful Cincinnati's defense has been, specifically that red zone defense. You said they were number 2, Steve?
Yeah.
Who's the number 1 red zone defense? I'm just kidding. I know the answer to that one. Brendan Sorsby, I think the Cincinnati defense and this offense is going to be able to go out and take care of business today. They're going to be ready to go. Like when you're an away team and you're in a position like this to go to a place where you're playing another ranked opponent, it's in the national spotlight because College Game Day is there today. Like it's an easy game to get up for as an away team. So I think I'm going to go with the Bearcats on this one. I think Cincinnati might be for real this year. They lost week 1 to who they play week 1, Nebraska, the game that took place at Arrowhead. So I I like the Bearcats in this one. You know, they've been reliable. They've been trustworthy this entire season. You know, took care of business against Iowa State, took care of business against Baylor. Everybody beats Oklahoma State. But I think Cincinnati's going to win this one, and they're going to be well on their way to that matchup against BYU is going to be really fun for Cincinnati if they win this game today.
Yeah.
So give me the Bearcats.
It's going to be fun, too, to watch Daly and Logan Fano. You know, they put a ton of pressure on opposing offenses. It's going to be a fun matchup for sure. I'm glad College Game Day's there, too.
Yeah. Today is Statement Saturday. Next week is Spoiler Saturday. That's what we're calling it for a couple of reasons. Most notably, you've got Mississippi State playing Georgia. You got Penn State playing Indiana. Syracuse playing Miami. Auburn playing Vanderbilt. And LSU playing Alabama. Navy playing Notre Dame.
Hey, don't forget about the Citadel at Ole Miss. That's a big game, too.
Yeah, and then Missouri at Texas A&M next week. So next week, as far as the Waterboys, we're calling it Spoiler Saturday. It's going to be going through a lot of games of teams wanting to play spoiler to potential college football playoff teams and national championship contenders. So that's coming up next week. Before we let you go, if you haven't yet, go download Better, BETR. Go download the Better app, the first real microplay app. So instead of waiting for the whole game, you can lock it in on every play, every drive, every pitch, every moment. Download the Better app and use code WASHED for special promos and discounts that you do not want to miss. On behalf of the Waterboys, myself, Strez, and Steve, enjoy a wonderful Saturday of college football. And if you're like me and you have YouTube TV, you may find yourself at a sports bar or a Dave & Buster's. And we will be live tweeting during the games. So keep it locked to us over on X for all of that stuff. And we will see you over on the YouTube for videos this week and next Saturday for the Waterboys College Football Pregame Show, 8 a.m. Central. Love you, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great college football Saturday.
Go Bucks. God bless Bo Nix.
Woo-woo. Go UK.